Let's consider this question on parametric equation. We are asked to find the y dx in terms of a if x equals to 80 squared and y equals to 280. To find the derivative of y with respect to x in terms of a, the meaning is that you are to differentiate x and y with respect to a. You understand? You know that in our previous class I explained to you what is meant by parametric equation. This is a typical example of parametric equation because both x and y, they are connected by a. You understand? Okay. Now let us find the derivative. The first step is that you have to differentiate x with respect to a. You have to differentiate x with respect to t. Then you have to differentiate y with respect to t as well. Listen to the explanation again. Because we are differentiating y, we are finding the y dx in terms of a. That means that we have to differentiate x and y with respect to other variable other than a. And in this equation, in both equations, the variable that is present there apart from a is t. So we are differentiating x and y with respect to t. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Now pay attention. Please pay attention. If you want to differentiate, x, you can make use of the power rule. Okay. So for the first one, I'm going to have, since x equals to 80 squared, the y the x dt. X equals to 80 squared, the x all over dt is equals to, because I'm differentiating x with respect to t, I'm going to have 2at. Okay. Now for y equals to 280, dy over dt will be equals to 2a. The reason is because, you see, if you are differentiating with respect to t, you have to keep a constant. You understand? That means you are not going to touch a. And do you understand what I'm saying? That is a typical example of partial derivative. Okay. Now, with respect to what we have here, according to parametric equation, I gave you a formula in our previous class. Dy over dx is equals to dy all over dt multiplied by dt all over dx. Okay, so we have already gotten dy dt, which is this. Now, how do we get the t dx? We are having the x dt. You know that the x dt is what? 280. Now, to get the dt dx, you just have to take the inverse of the x dt. You understand? You have to take the reciprocal of the x dt. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So don't forget that the t all over dx is equals to 1 over dx all over dt. Okay, so in that case, I just have to substitute what I have here. Dy over dx will be equals to dy dt is what? Dy dt is 2a multiplied by dt dx. Dt over dx is what? 1 over dx dt. So I'm going to have multiplied by 1 over dx dt. The x dt is what? The x dt is 280. So I'm going to have multiplied by 1 over 280. Do you understand? Okay. So having done that, dy dx is equals to 2a all over 280. Now 2a, pay attention. Dy over dx is equals to, this 2a can cancel this 2a. So I'm going to have 1 over t. That is the final answer. Okay. So that is question 1. Let's move to question 2. Okay, let's move to question 2. Please, I want you to pay attention. It's simple. Now, given that, find dy dx. If x, find dy dx if x is equals to 2t squared and y is equals to t squared. Find dy dx. I'm very sure you can try this. Now, I want you to do something now. Attempt this question. When you are done, then play the video to watch the solution. Okay, you know that from the first example, I told you that dy over dx is equals to dy whole over dt multiplied by dt whole over dx. Okay, so the first step is that we have to differentiate x and y with respect to the variable that is there. The variable that is here is what? Is t. So I'm going to have dx whole over dt is equals to 4t and dy whole over dt is equals to 2t. So dy over dx is equals to dy dt, that is 2t multiplied by dt dx. dt dx is what? Please pay attention. Don't forget that dt over dx is equals to 1 over dx over dt. And I've already gotten the x dt as what? As 40. So the dt dx will be 1 over 40. Okay? So dy whole over dx is equals to 2t all over 4t, because if you multiply 2t by 1, you're going to have 2t. So I'm going to have 2t over 4t. This will be equal to dy dx is equals to 1 over 2. Okay, so that is the solution to that question. Now let us proceed to another question. Now let's say we have z equals to a squared and y equals to 2a squared. Now we are asked to find, and y equals to 2a squared. Find dy over dz. Okay. Now you didn't have to worry yourself. Okay. Please pay attention. Dy. You see, the only thing that changes was that we didn't have z. We have z instead of x. It doesn't concern you. Anything that they have, you can just differentiate it. You understand? Dy over dz will be equals to dy over dA multiplied by dA over dz. You understand? Now listen. You know that in the previous from the previous example that we solved, you can see that this is the representation of the parametric equation formula that I gave to you. Now you can see that the only thing that changes is the variable. You understand what I'm saying? For example, we have x and we have the x here. Now we are having the z. So you don't have to worry yourself. Okay, you just differentiate with respect to the variable that you are given. Okay, so that is how you have to master the formula. Okay, because as far as parametric equation is concerned, as far as finding the derivative of parametric equation is concerned, you are going to need it. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? So master the formula because you are going to need it. Now let us find dy dA. Dy dA, since y equals to 2a squared, dy all over dA is equals to 4a. Now z equals to a squared, dz. Okay, let me write it on the top. Z, please pay attention. Z equals to a squared, dz all over dA is equals to what? 2a. Okay, now having done that, we can proceed like this. Dy dz is equals to dy dA. Dy dA is what? 4a multiplied by dA dz. Now dA dz, please pay attention. dA over dz will be equals to 1 over dz over dA, just like dt dx is equals to 1 over dx over dt. So dA over dz will be equals to 1 over dz over dA. Okay, so that is it. So I'm going to take the inverse of dz over dA to get dA over dz. So dA over dz will be 1 all over dz over dA. That is 2a. So here I'm going to have dy over dz is equals to 4a all over 2a. 4a divided by 2a will give me what? That will be 2. Okay, so that is the final answer to that question. This dy dz is 2. So you can solve any question that comes on parametric equation, how to find the derivative of parametric equation. Okay, so in our next class we're going to proceed to how to find the parametric equation involving trigonometric function. Okay, that is what we are going to learn in our next class. So if you have missed the previous class, make sure you watch those videos. They are still on this channel. They are free. Okay, watch those videos to improve. Okay, so that if you come across this kind of question in exam, you are going to solve it in the minimum amount of time. Do you understand? And also, before you go, don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you in the next class.